Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we are covering Dannette and Jeannette Milbrook's case. Their names are Dannette LaTanya Milbrook and Jeannette Latrice Milbrook. They were born April 2nd, 1974. On March 18, 1990, they walked to a local Church's Chicken on Laney Walker Boulevard. When they returned, they informed their mother, Louise, that a man in a van had followed them part of the way of their walk. No further information is known about this man. Later on in the day, they went to their godfather's house to borrow some money for the city bus, which is how they would get to school. They had recently moved a little bit further out of the way, so they needed bus fare to get to and from. After saving the $20 in bus fare, they bought, some snacks, and then they went to their cousin's house and their older sister's house. And at both times, they asked that somebody walk with them home. Sister declined because she just had a baby. Cousin declined, or the mother of the cousin declined because it was getting dark. So they were on their own. Last person that saw them was a clerk named Gloria, who was familiar with the twins. That's where they had brought their chips and snacks and stuff, and she said that she didn't recall anything out of the ordinary. So Mom and other relatives have been at the forefront and very vocal in the search for the girls. The father showed no interest in searching for the girls at all. Biological father, he died of dementia in 2021 in a nursing home. It was originally believed that the remains of girls at least one of the girls were found. At that point, there was no DNA testing done or anything like that. Later on, they confirmed that it was not one of the girls, one of the twins, but that person had died between, 90 and 93, and the remains were found on the side of a road. The case was reopened in 2013. After it was closed in 1991, they said that there were some issues with the investigation, such as the misspelling of the girls' names and such and so forth. So what I'll do is, you guys can find more information on this on Wikipedia. And so I would encourage you to go ahead and go there and, read for more details and, check everything out. And we'll get right into the spreads here. So we got about 3 spreads. So let's get into them. So this first spread basically tells me that they were lured with money, somebody that they knew and trusted, and I believe that one of the males in their family set them up, allegedly, basically made them, put them on the map, basically, put them out there, not directly, but just said, hey, I know 2 girls, 15-year-olds, and blah, blah, blah. And that's what I'm getting from this, that they were, the culmination of this reading, that they were tricked, they were lured, and then they were put in a situation where they were made to do things. You see the toil and labor card, you see the traveling, the journey, you see the destitution, the lovers, the courtship thing, and then we have sudden wealth over the mature man and family room. So whoever did this felt that this was going to be something that was going to benefit him, financially or in some way. So, that tells me they were trafficked. So going horizontal from left to right, we have unexpected income, mature man, family room, courtship, and then we have that sudden wealth card that fell out over the mature man and the family room. Message, wealthy man, despair, pathway, journey, expectation, message of concern, false person, and then toil and labor. So in this spread, I feel like it goes into what they were dealing with once they were in this captive situation. So from left to right, horizontally, we have change, great fortune, family room, despair again, imprisonment, main male, mature woman, what we see often. So there was a mature woman in the mix somewhere. Court order, there was an order or request. Toil and labor, occupation, courtship. That tells me, it talks about, to me, sex worker, prostitution, courtship, lovers. And then the outer aisle is wealthy man, message of concern. Okay, so in this spread, you know, I did the true crime and then I did the Morgan Greer. So some of the repetitive messages, such as like, or the repetitive cards from the Kipper, such as like message of concern, court order, that sort of thing, definitely makes sense when we look at this one with this spread. It says my disappearance was due to an occult ritual. So when you look at a female placing an order, and it's not unusual, like when people are trafficked, to then be used for other things. You could have a sex trafficked victim who ended up being cannibalized. Like there is an underground human meat market in this country, like in the world. Like there are people who consume human flesh. This is a real thing. So you could have a sex worker. You could have that sex worker being used later after for her organs, could be sold for her organs or his organs, or could be used in like a sacrifice, because some of these sacrifices are not about virgins or children, they're about the spillage of blood is quantum physical. It's like it's liquid technology. You know, when we get into, like the card says, taken to the Middle East, there are definitely like ancient cults in that part of the world that delve or that deal with the dark arts and human sacrifice all throughout Asia. The Middle East is part of Asia, and that card did come out. I was taken to Asia too, so Middle East and Asia, but I didn't put that one in. This one came out first. You know, so I just wanted to be understood too that, you know, there are like these people, these victims who are taken are used for multiple uses sometimes. And a lot of American women, a lot of American bloodlines are targeted and taken to the Middle East. We've heard this repeatedly from the girls, the two girls in Chicago, the sisters in Chicago. I did a reading for them a couple years back. Same message. One of them ended up being taken to the Middle East. A lot of girls are over there in Abu Dhabi, and the government knows about it and they don't care, you know. And you won't just hear it here. There are other channels where people are talking about this, where, you know, the American, it's specific certain bloodlines here in America, and, you know, not just American women. This is happening in Europe as well. This has been happening in Europe. There are certain bloodlines, certain ethnic bloodlines that are being shipped over there for these kinds of things. You would think it's like for sex slavery exclusively, but it's definitely for these ritual killing situations, because, again, blood is a lot more significant than what we think it is. And, you know, so on a much deeper level, like this is definitely happening. So, you know, they could be taken for one thing and end up meeting their demise or victimized in some other way for some other purpose. So here we have aged over 50. I believe that this is probably the male that they ended up with first, or the male that arranged this, allegedly the godfather or allegedly the biological father. Also, we have my death was due to an overdose. So that was probably one of the girls, or both of the girls. It says, I'm with my family and the ancestors. My sister, taken to the Middle East. My disappearance was due to an occult ritual. So because of the way that the cards are worded, just follow along and, you know, make sense of it as best as you can. So I believe that one of the girls likely died here, if we're to believe the cards, that, you know, died here from a drug overdose, and then the other one was shipped, and the other one could have been separated very early on. And then so on the bottom we see this message that says that they were blinded to the truth of the matter, which was there was like a conspiracy to set them up for this. So blinded by this team effort to have them victimized, like caught up, you know, and religion was used as part of this. So this could be somebody that they knew from, I don't know, church. Hey, somebody, do you need a ride home or something? Or, you know, how you girls doing? How's your mama doing? Y'all need anything? Come on, won't you let me give you a ride? And, you know, so, but that's what I'm seeing here with the Hierophant, and then the Seven of Pentacles. This was used to harvest the girls, okay? So being blinded to this team effort, the truth, okay? Being blinded to the truth, there was a team effort to get them caught up. Okay, and religion was used to harvest them, to get them, to wrangle them in. So, you know, I definitely feel like they knew whoever it was they got in the vehicle with, because if they knew there was if there was a strange man that was accosting them or following them, and they knew enough to ask for help, or somebody to walk them home, then they're not going to deal with somebody that's a stranger. This had to be somebody that they knew. And a lot, especially this is the South too, a lot of that religious thing is real heavily indoctrinated, and discipline, and like respect of your elders and all this. Like the whole culture is surrounding hardcore Baptist Christianity and discipline and respecting your elders and yada yada yada. So I think what this is saying is that was used to some extent, and their ultimate demise, allegedly, if that's really what happened, if they were used in a ritual sacrifice, and then that is a religious piece too. You know what I mean? There are people that are practicing these bloodletting religions, and they believe they have the right to kill people, kill adults, babies, teenagers, whatever, in the name of their religion. So that's what I got for this reading. Thank you so much, Libra, for requesting it, and send some love and energy out to these girls and their family. And thank you guys for watching. Thank you for supporting the channel by liking, commenting, and subscribing. And we will see you in the next video. I hope you guys have learned something from this, especially like the piece with like women being snatched, and how a lot of them are being taken away, and how to other countries, to other hemispheres, and like how real this thing can get. So hopefully, you guys, and if this happened in 1990, this has been going on for a long time. So just be vigilant and be aware and inform yourself. This isn't a time to be stupid. This isn't a time to be to not pay attention. Like, this is serious stuff. These girls that have been taken, and God knows what's happened to them. I mean, just think about their final moments. Think about, the suffering, being, put on a boat or in a container, and knowing damn well that you're not going to see anybody. Nobody knows what happened to you. So just let these readings be a message. You know what I mean? This is not just for entertainment. It's not for entertainment at all. There's nothing entertaining about this, but definitely pay attention. Just pay attention. And thanks for watching, guys. Take care.